Excellencies, friends, feminists, and especially to the organizers who've been working so hard to deliver this event, the declaration, and the practice of feminist foreign policy both today and for the many weeks, months, and years before. It's my pleasure to be with you again. It's been my honor to study and shape the growing field of feminist foreign policy from 2014, when Sweden planted the first seed, to now, a decade of discourse and hopeful sapling that is growing branches in so many areas of influence you've heard about today. I am excited and humbled to see the growth of this practice in every UN region, from Luxembourg to Liberia. This gives us hope for a world in which the shared global goods of people, peace, and planet will chart the course for foreign policy and multilateralism in place of war, competition, and unchecked consumption. A few recent highlights. Earlier this year, as you heard, Colombia gave us the world's first pacifist feminist foreign policy, something of an investment in peace that I think we can all agree is deeply needed right now. Mexico and Liberia are modeling what a successful transition of feminist foreign policy from one government to the next looks like. And as we know all too well, that doesn't always happen. There's a tremendous amount of work and expertise proliferating on this topic at the global, regional, and national levels, and it is making the discourse stronger. As conveners of the Global Partner Network for Feminist Foreign Policy, of which a number of you are members, we are convening experts from government, civil society, academia, and philanthropy working on this agenda, curating a site for trust, for hope, for mutual learning and co-creation. As we define it in the Global Partner Network for Feminist Foreign Policy is about so much more than gender equality. It's about using all the levers of foreign policy and influence to prioritize people, peace, and planet. It's, at its best, a site for innovation, for pushing boundaries, for disrupting entrenched power dynamics. Patriarchy, yes, but also xenophobia, homophobia, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, colonialism, racism, ableism, among others. And I was thrilled to hear Minister Vieira's of Brazil's remarks on a chart for feminist foreign policy there that we very much align with this approach. It's a practice that's viable, transformative, and urgently needed. It has yet to be fully and coherently actualized, but we believe it's the best hope for the future. And most of all, it's an intersectional, holistic, and multiplying force. It is solidarity foreign policy. I congratulate Mexico and Spain for their leadership of the FFP Plus group, an incredibly diverse and growing cast of players. I've seen solidarity foreign policy on display in their capitals and missions, and I believe that if this group can find a way to work together and in its regional groups, unflinchingly to advance people, peace, and planet, this is the change we want to see in the world. I'm grateful for the Mexican Ministerial Conference on Feminist Foreign Policy and their linkage to this week's discussions on the Summit of the Future, and congratulate the FFP Plus group on its adoption of a strong political declaration today, the third of its kind, which importantly affirms not only the critical gender equality processes and mechanisms of Beijing Plus 30, SDG 5, CSW, CPD, and CEDAW, but also commits this group to working together in so many of the spaces not focused on gender equality, where leadership has been absent. We need your leadership now. At COP, where the Gender Action Plan is being renegotiated and climate finance is high on the agenda, but ambition has been lacking. At the fourth conference on financing and development, where we need new and ambitious financing to bring global commitments to gender equality to life and robust resourcing for women's rights and feminist movements. I would encourage you to add the Security Council, the World Social Summit, the OECD Trade Conference, and the G7 to G20 to your list of areas for feminist leadership and cooperation. All the news is not good. We've not seen the kind of leadership we need to see on issues like the Pact of the Future, amidst opportunity for progress on critical issues we most need to address: conflict, climate change, SOGI, rights. I don't need to remind us that we gather here amidst ongoing death and destruction and an escalating and expanding conflict in the Middle East, hard-right electoral victories from the Americas to Europe, and as famine and rape are deployed as tools of the protracted war in Sudan. As social movements for peace, we know that gender equality and progress are not linear, but neither does it have to be this slow. The tool we are developing together is a frontline framework. Use it. It is only effective if deployed. A recent CFR report characterized feminist foreign policy as a progressive foreign policy of the highest level of ambition. We need your ambition now. One of my favorite brave feminists, the former feminist foreign policy ambassador of Argentina and current FFPC senior fellow Marita Percival, recently shared a quote with me that I find a fitting reflection on which to close, from Mexican feminist Frida Kahlo. "Let not the tree of hope go thirsty." The work we are doing together is just a young tree, a decade old, putting down roots in dusty, rocky soil racked by war, climate change, and political turbulence. Its limbs have been trimmed a bit, but still it grows, and with it, our hope for the future. Thank you.